Hey guys, we're going to talk about filling out a trig chart today. So you should have a chart like this in Google Classroom to look at. And we're going to go ahead and fill this thing out completely by hand. Okay, this is a great skill to be able to have, and it's not that difficult. So we've got degrees in this first column down here, and the second column is radians. So if you remember, 0 degrees is 0 radians. And if I make a complete 360-degree turn, that's 2 pi radians. Okay, which means that half of that, 180 degrees, would be 1 pi radians. And half of that would be 90 degrees. That would be pi over 2 radians. And half of that would be 45, which would be pi over 4 radians. And then, so that means that every 45 degrees is going to be pi over 4 radians. So this is pi over 4, this is 2 pi over 4. 45 degrees would be 3 pi over 4. 4 pi over 4 is just pi. This would be 5 pi over 4. This would be 6 pi over 4, which reduces to 3 pi over 2. And then this would be 7 pi over 4. So we got all the 45s done real easy. Now we're going to go back and do the 30s. Okay, so remember, this is pi over 2, and 30 degrees is 1/3 of 90. So if we take 1/3 of pi over 2, that's pi over 6. Okay, which would make this 2 pi over 6, because that's twice as big as 30, which is just pi over 3. Let's see, this was 2 pi over 6, this would be 3 pi over 6, this would be 4 pi over 6, so that'd be 2 pi over 3 when we reduce it. This would be 5 pi over 6, 6 pi over 6, 7 pi over 6, this would be 8 pi over 6, which is 4 pi over 3, 9 pi over 6 is 3 pi over 2 again, 10 pi over 6 reduces to 5 pi over 3, and this would be 11 pi over 6. And now we've got all the radians filled in. Okay, now for now we're going to skip the x's and y columns here. Okay, we're going to go look at sine. Now here's the way you can do this from memory. You got to remember a very simple formula. You got to be able to write down the numbers 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then you're going to want to square root those things and divide them by 2. Okay, so this is just 0. This is 1/2. This is square root of 2 over 2, that doesn't reduce. This is square root of 3 over 2, it does not reduce. And this is square root of 4 is 2, divided by 2 is 1. Okay, these 5 numbers right here, that's a horrible 0, so we're going to fix that. These 5 numbers are the first 5 numbers in sine. 0, 1/2, square root of 2 over 2, square root of 3 over 2, and 1. Now remember, sine goes from 0 up to 1, and then it goes back down to 0, and it goes to -1, and then up to 0 again, and then it starts over, okay? And it's nice and smooth and symmetric and all this, so I can take these numbers right here and just write them down backwards. Now, I've reached 1, so this is going to be square root of 3 over 2, square root of 2 over 2, 1/2, and we're back to 0 again. Now we're going to go negative. It's going to be the same numbers, so it's going to be -1/2, negative square root of 2 over 2, negative square root of 3 over 2, and -1. And now we're going to work our way back up again. This is hard to read, so let's kind of fix this right here, make it obvious that's negative. So this is going to be negative square root of 3 over 2, negative square root of 2 over 2, -1/2, and 0. And so we've done the sine column. Okay? Once you get these first 5 numbers, the rest is pretty easy. Okay, now we're going to go to the cosine column. Now remember, cosine is exactly like sine, except it starts at 1. So we're going to start at 1, and we're going to go down. So it's going to be square root of 3 over 2, square root of 2 over 2, 1/2, 0. And now we're going to go negative. Negative 1/2, negative square root of 2 over 2, negative square root of 3 over 2, negative 1. Now we're going to work our way back up again. Negative square root of 3 over 2, negative square root of 2 over 2, negative 1/2, 0. And then we're going to head back up to 1 again. So this is going to be 1/2 square root of 2 over 2, square root of 3 over 2, 1. And we're done with cosine. Okay, now tangent takes a little bit of work on some of them, because tangent, remember, is, its tangent is the sine divided by the cosine. So you have to remember that. So sine divided by cosine, 0 divided by 1 is going to be 0. Okay, let's just do this one. So 1/2 divided by square root of 3 over 2. So remember, when you divide fractions, you invert the second one and multiply. So that's going to be times 2 over square root of 3. So then the 2's are going to cancel out. I get 1 over the square root of 3, and I rationalize that by multiplying by square root of 3 over 3, and I get, or square root of 3 over square root of 3, and I get square root of 3 over 3. Okay, that's going to go right here. Now this one's easy to do. Square root of 2 over 2 divided by square root of 2 over 2, that's just 1. This one I have to do kind of similar to this one, except it's a little easier because I'm dividing by the 1/2. So it's going to be square root of 3 over 2 divided by 1/2 is the same as times 2 over 1. So again, the 2's cancel out. And this time I just get square root of 3 over 1, which is just square root of 3. So that's going to go right here. Now this one's interesting. 1 divided by 0, that's undefined. So we'll put a little infinity sign right in there. Okay. And now it's going to be, again, it's going to work just like the sine and the cosine did. Okay. So you can see it's the same two numbers being divided, except one of these is negative. So this is going to be negative square root of 3. This is going to be negative 1. This is going to be square root of 3 over 3. And this is going to be 0. Now, it's going to be the same numbers again. So this is going to be the same as this. Whoops, that's negative 2, by the way. Square root of 3 over 3. But this time is positive because it's negative divided by negative. This is going to be 1 again. This is going to be square root of 3. And again, we're undefined right here. And now we're going to get the same numbers yet again in the last quadrant, except they're going to be negative because it's negative divided by a positive. So this is going to be, whoops, forgot my negative sign. Negative square root of 3, negative 1, negative square root of 3 over 3, and 0. Okay, then we scroll back up here to the top again. Now, next column, cotangent is the reciprocal of tangent, right? So this is going, if I 1 over 0 is going to be undefined. Okay, this one I got to flip it over. So 3 over the square root of 3, I need to rationalize that. So I multiply by square root of 3 over square root of 3. That's 3 square root of 3 over 3, which the 3's cancel out, and I just get square root of 3. Reciprocal of 1 is just 1. And hey, if I flip this over, I'm just going to get that, because when I flip this over, I got this. So this is going to be square root of 3 over 3. Okay, if I take the reciprocal of infinity, that's going to be 0. Okay, then I'm going to get square root of 3 over 3, but it's negative. Negative 1. Negative square root of 3. And undefined. And then I'm going to get square root of 3. And I'm going to get 1. And I'm going to get square root of 3 over 3. And I'm going to get 0. And the last quadrant, I'm going to get negative square root of 3 over 3. Negative 1, negative square root of 3, and undefined. Okay, scroll back up here again. The secant is the reciprocal of cosine. So this is going to be reciprocal of 1 is 1. All right, this is going to be 2 over the square root of 3, which I need to rationalize. So I'm going to multiply by square root of 3 over square root of 3. That's going to be 2 square root of 3 over 3. Okay, so that's going to go here. And then this is going to be, I got to flip over 2, square root of 2 over 2. So that's going to be 2 over the square root of 2, which I'm going to rationalize by multiplying by square root of 2 over square root of 2. That's 2 square root of 2 over 2, which those cancel out, and I'm left with square root of 2. So that's going to go here. And then I flip over 2, or 1/2, that's going to be 2. And I flip over 0, and that's going to be undefined. And now I have my numbers for secant. So then this is going to, because this is negative, this is going to be negative. Negative. And negative 1. And then again, we're still negative, but the same numbers, just written down in the reverse order. And the last quadrant is going to be positive. So it's going to be 2. And it's going to be negative square root of 2. And negative 2 square root of 3 over 3. And we're back to negative 1. Wait, those should be positive. I don't know where I got negatives from. I looked at the wrong column, I guess. There you go. And now that brings us to the last column, which is the cosecant, which is the reciprocal of sine. Okay, so I flip over 0, that's infinity. It's going to be the same numbers as here. It's going to be different order. So this is going to be 2. And this is also going to be square root of 2. And this one's going to be 2 square root of 3 over 3. And this is going to be 1. And then this is going to be 2 square root of 3 over 3. This is going to be square root of 2. This is going to be 2. And then this is going to be infinity. And now it's the same numbers, except they are negative, because these are negative. So this is negative 2. And this is going to be negative square root 2. And this is negative 2 square root of 3 over 3. And this is negative 1. And then the last quadrant is going to be also negative, and it's going to be negative 2 square root of 3 over 3, and negative square root of 2, and negative 2, and undefined. And there you have your trig chart filled out, except for the x's and y's, which we'll do later. So there you go.